Hello there. We're gonna do a new thing for this channel, which is that I'm gonna live stream the meeting that is happening involving the COVID for the city. So, like a little bit of background: every Friday of every week, the city does weekly, COVID updates, and they talk about, vaccine distribution, stuff like that. And what I want to do is I want to go into these meetings live and show just how, awful the mayor is and how much disregard he has for his constituents. So here's a bit of to kind of recap. So let me mute this a bit for a second. So the mayor of Bloomington, so to start with, people in Wheeler, Mission, they have 17 confirmed cases of COVID-19. This has been corroborated by anonymous sources that I've talked to. Someone that I personally know has told me that who is unhoused has told me that that Shalom is not accepting people because of COVID, and because of COVID and Wheeler Mission, Shalom is not letting people in at Wheeler, understandably so. But the issue is the mayor needs to fucking do his job and fucking get people, hotel rooms in isolation that he fucking promised, in order for the rules to be adhered to for quarantine. And he's not doing that. We were right on the CDC. So anyway, you're just gonna see videos of me every week here right now, and then throughout other I'll make other videos in this kind of recording Zoom format where I kind of expose a lot of lies of the city, because the city is corrupt, and the city is not engaging this in good faith. I mean, my God, 17 people infected with COVID at Wheeler Mission. Okay, let's play this and yeah.
In terms of looking at those metrics and the advisory maps, Tuesday night for the board meeting, we reviewed the two health regulations that we have in place. One for communal living regulations, no changes were made to that at this time. And really only one change for our health order and regulations, and that was to take the gathering size limit for social gatherings and events back to 50, which is where we were before we went into orange on that metrics map. It is still much less than what we would be if we were following the state guidelines. And the Board of Health will be meeting again on the 16th of February, where they will look at what is our current status. So can we maintain that? Do we need to lower that again? Do we need to look at some of the other pieces of that regulation? So for now, nothing changed with our retail food establishments or bars. As the mayor stated, we are moving forward, that this is a big weekend. We have Super Bowl, we have increased populations, we have new variants.
You also have 17 people infected in Wheeler Mission.
And all of those things could change the data in either direction. So I would say let's not allow this weekend or the coming weeks to derail our good efforts and measures. Let's stay on a good trend.
How about you listen to the community and help the fucking homeless?
There's probably some questions if you pay attention to the dashboard. The death total in our community rose this week, and that was really, we added 37 newly reported and historical deaths that were identified through an audit. So it's not typical that we would be releasing death data kind of in real time as it happens. And so with this dashboard, and COVID-19, that's what's been happening. So at the end of the year, the state went back and they've reviewed all the death certificates, assessed those. So we added some cases, not only the new cases that we may have had, but also those that were missed. The death may have been reported, but it was not previously, did not come in as a COVID-related death. So that's where that jump came from, just to let individuals know that we didn't all of a sudden have 37 new cases or deaths, but part of that was historical information.
It also comes from Wheeler Mission and the infections there.
Those kinds of things I've mentioned the past several weeks, the difficulty that we are having with DRIVE, the new state system for birth and death records. While that is improving, we are still seeing problems with that and having some issues. So please bear with us and all county health departments as we work through these, bear with the state as we work through these things. And if you know any providers, please make sure that they have registered, because one of the issues that we are seeing is that some providers simply have not registered, so they cannot sign off on a death that's occurred. So we need everybody to do that. School changes, if you watch the governor's announcement on Wednesday, they announced some changes to how schools can handle quarantine and distancing. So we are working together with our schools to get more information about that. We received an update this morning, and schools will be assessing. They may or may not follow some of these new guidelines. That would really be up to them. So we are having conversations with them about their plans on that. In terms of the vaccine, if you are eligible, do try to schedule your appointment. You can make it anywhere that's available. We are seeing demand in Monroe County is extremely high. Some of the surrounding counties, the demand is not so high. So you may be able to get an appointment in a nearby county quicker than you can.
Since they're talking about Monroe County, let's see what the actual case count is.
What we've noticed is that some people may click on first available appointment and they may not see anything until several weeks out. If you encounter that, please go ahead and pick a date and check those dates. Sometimes times open up and populate, and you may find an appointment much sooner than what that first available seems to show you. I don't have a good answer on why exactly that's happening. The state's aware of it, but if it's sending you out several weeks, go ahead before you make that appointment and click on a few of the dates. Our community site, vaccination site at the convention center.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at these statistics.
So those would be the days that you would want.
There's just so much that's been going on that,
open more
yeah.
often than that. But we would just encourage you to do that. As we were looking at next week's schedule, we noticed that we have some available appointments, or did this morning, I should say, on Monday. They may not be there now. So I hope they're not there now. I hope they are all filled. And again, even after you are vaccinated, from your first dose to your second dose, continue.
Oh, Monroe's actually doing fairly good.
Continue to wash your hands. Stay home if you're sick. We need to do all of those things until we truly are through this. And the last thing that I will say is we've given out over 2,000 vaccinations. Next week, we start our first round of second doses. We do maintain a small cash back just to make sure that we have vaccine for those appointments next week, and a few extras just in the event of something more catastrophic happening. And with testing, I would again encourage everyone to think about being tested, and certainly
Let's see, trying to remember the number.
You need to be tested if you're a close contact. After 5 days, please consider being tested as well. If you are symptomatic, you can go to the community site on Morton Street for an antigen test that gives you rapid results within 30 minutes. So we would encourage folks to do that. And with that, I think that's all I have until questions.
Okay, let's next go to the Monroe County Board of Commissioners and Julie Thomas.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everyone today, and I hope everybody has plans to stay indoors and stay warm for the foreseeable. Not only because it protects our health, but it's also going to be really cold this week. So just a couple of quick things. Just want to remind folks, I haven't said this in a while, but we continue to
I wonder who haha reacted this.
To the public.
Oh, Terry Gentry.
So if you
Who's he?
visit a county office for any reason, please email or call them or drop by their website for instructions, co.monroe.in.us, to find out how to book your appointment. We're doing this, we are checking temperature still, we're having people sign in, and we do have almost a full complement of UV light and ionization protocols in place or projected to be in place. So our buildings are rather safe, but we still want to make sure that we're protecting the public and that we are protecting our employees, of course. So just let folks know in the department if you need to drop by. But we've come up with a lot of great ways to move documents, whether physically or electronically, to make sure that we can get the work of county residents done every day. And so huge thanks to our employees who make that happen. So for those folks who are facing difficulties paying for shelter, utilities, the necessities of life, please contact your trustee as soon as possible. Board of Commissioners has worked with
good call.
And the township trustees.
Yeah, definitely contact the trustees.
Of providing additional money, and this is CARES money that came to the
I mean,
county,
fuck you, Julie Thomas, you're a grifter,
residents
but this is what you do.
And especially with these winter months, we cannot take any chances. So if you're struggling to pay your bills for basic necessities, please contact your township trustee as soon as possible. If you are a county resident, you have a township trustee, and the good folks at Emergency Management have a list of all of those contact numbers for you. So just go to co.monroe.in.us and look at the emergency management page. We are continuing to provide CARES grant money for businesses, social service organizations, and even taxing units in our community. Program total as of now is $642,006.81. And that's since we started the program. And that's to keep our economy going, to make sure that we have our social service organizations in place once COVID is over. We can only dream about that day right now, but it will come. So we are continuing the program. It was slated to end last week, but we are continuing the program through at least April 30th. So same process, same procedure, same cap of $30,000 since the beginning. Go to co.monroe.in.us and click on that on the middle of the homepage for information, documents on how to get your grant. This is for non-personnel COVID-related expenses, not covered by another funding source. And lastly, we just want to
let's check out this website, how the vaccination plan is.
Continue to practice physical distancing, wearing your mask, doing all the right things. And my dog wants to chime in and remind everybody that what we need to do as well is check with our neighbors.
Okay, so it's any Hoosier age 65 or older, first responders, police officers, sheriff deputies, emergency correctional officers who are regularly called to the scene.
And if we might even be able to help them get their appointment made if they're feeling a little befuddled with the technology. So that's what we're going to ask you to do this week. I think it would be a great thing to do.
Okay, so anybody age 65 or older, not a lot of our unhoused population. Oh, okay, who is specifically eligible?
Chuck, I just have a quick announcement.
65 or
Our
older.
blood drives for February are full, and so that's a good thing, a great problem to have. So if you are someone that you have to wait so many days after you've made a donation, and so a lot of our people that make those donations, they're regularities, and they continue to watch for those days that are open. So I encourage you to continue to check our February dates just to see if there's a cancellation and something would open. Those dates are the 16th and the 17th of February. And then if you want to look ahead, you can, since those days are more than likely going to remain full. Our March days are the 17th
Yeah, so
and the 18th.
it looks like
So
our
16,
unhoused
17th,
don't
February 17, 18 of
qualify,
March.
except for those
You
that
go
are
ahead and get those
age
appointments made.
65.
The city of Bloomington has a blood
If I'm
drive
reading
every
this
Wednesday.
correctly.
That's also listed on the redcross.org website.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I mean, you know, it's kind of sad that that there's nothing for them. But the question still stands: why the shit aren't they being isolated? Because you know we know they have COVID, and I mean and why we had the encampments in the first place was to follow the damn CDC, which says that you shouldn't, you know, evict people and endanger them and like crowd them into shelters, like what happened at Wheeler Mission. So anyway, I guess I can continue watching, though it's kind of hard to bear.
Way to tie it into COVID. You know, we encourage you guys to check on your heaters. Try to keep them, don't rise the heat because you want to stay warmer, because that of course could you know, take your circuit breaker off and then of course have power outages. Our office works with our energy companies, and if we lose any power or those type of things, we will definitely be working close with them. These having some warming stations at our fire departments, both city and county. So we will be releasing that information in the early part of next week, so that if you do lose your heat or do not have a home or somewhere to go to stay, we will have some places in place. And I, just to tie all that coldness into COVID, you know, I always think it's a nice way to keep your face warm is by having that face mask on. So if you do have to go out in that bitter cold, keep your face super warm by having that mask on to prevent anyone from the spread of COVID. We will be sending out, as snow does possibly come this weekend and the first of next week, and those cold, bitter warnings, we will be sending that information out through our Everbridge system, just as we do any COVID updates as well. So if you've not signed up for those, I encourage you to go to co.monroe.in.us and click on the megaphone and get signed up for that free service, where we offer all kinds of information to our residents about things that are going on in Monroe County. That's all I have, Chuck. I'll be here for questions.
Okay, let's next go to IU Health South Central Region Program Director for Community Relations and Outreach, Shauna Gerkes.
Thanks, Chuck. It's great to be with you today. So we have a couple slides for you today. Just similar to last week, you'll see that we continue to have a lower volume of COVID-19 patients from where we were just a week ago. So this is really good news. We are still seeing a steady inpatient census in spite of that across the region and within Monroe County. So as of yesterday, our IU Health ICUs statewide were 73% occupied, and regionally, our IU Health ICUs were 58% occupied. So this is a welcome decrease from last week. We're hopeful that will continue as we see more of our community members get their vaccinations. On the vaccines front, as of February 4th, Bloomington has used 18,795 vaccines of the 24,100 that we have received, and that's a 78% utilization rate. We continue to receive additional vaccine shipments to ensure that all of our scheduled appointments are covered. At our vaccine clinic in Paoli, we hit the 5,000 vaccine, and we're expecting to give our 20,000 vaccine tomorrow, actually. So a special thanks to our amazing team that are staffing those sites. Their kindness and their expertise is truly amazing and appreciated. Also want to just share a little bit of news that we saw recently in the New York Times. There was an article that shared that out of the close to 75,000 people who had received the Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Novavax, or Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines as a part of the research trials, that no one has died of COVID-19, and of those that have participated, very few had been hospitalized. So we know this is very promising, because even vaccines with lower effectiveness rates may help people not get as sick as if they had never received the shot. So this really means that because one vaccine is more effective, it doesn't mean that it can't protect you from the more deadly consequences of the virus. And because of this, like all of my colleagues on the call today, we are encouraging everyone to sign up for your vaccine as soon as you're eligible. And lastly, just a little update on flu. We have some great news on that front. We have seen just 7 cases of flu this season so far at the IU Health South Central region. This is a really big improvement compared to the 261 flu cases that we had seen up to this point last year. So this.
Yeah, there's 17 cases of COVID at Wheeler Mission. So I don't know, like, I guess it's all dandy that less people have the flu, but I would say that the city of Bloomington and Monroe County is kind of in shambles. And John Hamilton doesn't give a shit. And Julie Thomas did some stuff, but she's kind of a grifter. And I don't know about these other people. I guess they're whatever. Yeah, Steve. Listen to Steve.
Back to Bloomington, but I can tell you that of the re-arrival testing, so this is congregate living, Greek houses and residence halls, the numbers I had from yesterday, of the 3,800 that we've done re-arrival testing, we're at a 0.24 positivity rate. That's just amazingly low for these students who have not, have been coming in from home.
Well, it's not low for the homeless. There are, like, currently at Wheeler Mission, let me see, there's like, I don't even remember the numbers, but let's see, there's 50 men's beds, I believe. And like, I think the women's shelter has like 40, so an upper margin of 90. Yeah. So there's 90 beds available, 17 confirmed cases, 17. I don't know. That's, and I'm sure the positivity rate, like, I would assume all of them have been tested. So that's like at least like a 17%. That's like a 20%, 17-20% positivity rate. Yeah, great. It's great that Monroe County's been good, and don't get me wrong, like according to the stats, Monroe County compared to the rest of the state has been doing pretty well, but they've been screwing the homeless population. It's shameful. It's fucking shameful. And I'm sick of it. And, John Hamilton better do some shit about it, or we're just gonna, or his career is gonna be done. John Hamilton wants a future in DC. He's not gonna get any future. No, we're not gonna let him. Yeah, let's hear. Let's hear about the COVID.
Just do a quick screen share here if I can find the right screen. I may have to go back here. Whoops. I'll bring it up in just a minute. But we have increased the amount of information on the dashboard. I see Amanda's just put it in the chat there. And the dashboard, as you go to that, expands the amount of information that you're able to look at. It's got weekly metrics, and then in addition, metrics since July of 2020.
Let's see, the heart of
the weekly prevalence rates are in there now. Those this last the week of January 24th was at 0.2, down from 0.3 the week before. Mitigation testing numbers are in there, and our turnaround time, which is right now at about 18 hours. So you get a PCR test at one of our mitigation sites, you'll have an average return time of getting those results back in 18 hours via your.
Yeah, how about you listen to the people at this meeting?
It also now includes voluntary testing. And Chuck, yeah, if you'll click Bloomington, there you go. We'll take the all campuses off. There you go. That gives you the full number. We can scroll down. Of course, the top level there, but
is that for IU students? I don't really trust those numbers because I'll let this person speak, but I'll comment on how these numbers are determined. That makes me skeptical.
Test beyond the ones that are scheduled. That was at a 0.8% rate for the week of the 24th to 6th.
Or I'll just write it as a comment here.
That's usually a little higher. Yeah, that's where you are right there. A little higher because sometimes those folks feel like they might have some symptoms, and so they might have a reason to think that they've been exposed. We, of course, if they have symptoms, they need to be going to the healthcare provider. But these are folks that think they may have been exposed or may have getting ready for travel or whatever, and so they've done a voluntary test. Also, the next thing you'll see on there is the state 7-day positivity rate, which is a good thing for us to add. You'll see that's at 16.3%, and a link to the state dashboard. And then finally is self-reported cases. So this is what's seen as other known cases. These are members of our students, faculty, and staff who have self-reported that they got a positive test. So this was the number for the week of January 24th. There were 31 of those. So that's the new dashboard. I encourage everybody to reference that if you have questions. I'm glad we've been able to add additional information. We did a redesign because obviously lessons learned.
Yeah, so here's the problem with the IU tests, and maybe I'm wrong. Like I'm not going to pretend like I'm an extreme expert in this, but I'm somebody with a brain, you know. And here's the problem with this, with the results, and I have like a background in math and stats for what it's worth. I'm currently a IU PhD grad student in math. So what my take is on how these statistics are determined mean something. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but hear me out. So IU, they do their tests based on mitigation testing. So so maybe at the beginning of the semester or like before vacations or whatever, they'll allow people to whatchamacallit, they'll allow people to do tests, but like in between the semester, they won't, like, you can't choose to go to the center and get a test at the IU test center. They'll only let you if they like randomly assign you for mitigation testing. And me personally, they never assigned me any testing at all. I did it all. And if you need to get tested, and the I can't remember the testing center, but like out near the Monroe County Recycling, I wish I remembered the name, but that's where you get testing. Those results in like the Indiana State Department of Health, those results actually mean something, because like people like actually like choose to get tested. And so, but like with the mitigation testing, they don't allow it by choice, at least like they didn't before. And so then the problem is that people who are in close contact with other people don't necessarily go, those tests aren't based on that. The tests where it's, you know, suspicious that they're, you know, in contact with people that have COVID, they use actually a different testing center, and those results don't go to the IU database. So those results are a little bit flawed. I hate to be a curmudgeon about this stuff, but I kind of am a curmudgeon about this stuff, and they're kind of wrong with that. So let's see, I'm gonna give Kurt White a reply. So yeah, let's see what Kirk White has to say, and
in terms of being
let's see what some of the other people are commenting, because
So the question about the
yeah, they're
firearms,
talking about
we
other
have-
places
we have,
that
about
aren't
50% of
Bloomington and
parents
actually give a shit
vaccinated,
about the
over
homeless
half of our police
population.
officers vaccinated as well, and I'm going to continue to share those data. We are looking at how to handle those who choose not to. I should also say that's a minimum number that we know are vaccinated. There may be others who are vaccinated through other means that we're not aware of. So we'll continue to try to monitor that. We don't have a mandate in place. I do think in our continuity of city government team is.
Hey, look at that face. That's John Hamilton, showing up for the homeless population.
Protocols for employees, depending upon whether or not they have been vaccinated. There may be incentives.
Wow, that screen is
to get
horrible.
vaccinated, and there may be kind of behavioral requirements if not vaccinated that we'll be looking at. We have not chosen to do a mandate. That's tricky. I think it can be done. It's not typical for most places, but we'll continue to look at that. And again, I hope the example of fellow firefighters, police officers, residents getting vaccinated, seeing the
Yeah, but not the people at Wheeler Mission who have cases. They're not vaccinated. They don't even get isolation shelters.
Next, going to Kirk White. And Kirk, this is going to be a popular question for the coming weeks. This is from Dave Askins again. Is there any glimmer of hope that you can give us about prospects for Little 500 this year?
That's a good question.
Boy, Dave, not yet. We watch the numbers and look at the conditions here on the campus, in the community, in the state on a weekly basis, and there's a committee of medical professionals and event staff that is reviewing this by the week. It's not just Little 5, but other major events like commencement. So we will continue to take a look, but at this stage in the game, with the kinds of rates and really what we've learned about transmission, it's obviously better to be outside, but
yeah, it's better to be outside, John Hamilton.
not the panacea to make sure you're not going to get infected. And so right now we're still on hold for any of these major events. And of course, even as we've talked.
What's going on? Huh. Wow.
Question from Adam Pinter.
Wow, the audio quality.
You for penny
I have too many of those open.
call. Have there been a
Yeah, I guess that's what's going on. Let's wait for it to. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to load everything because. Let's see some other individual Glamazoo homeless encampment talk about issues. So yeah. Yeah, and that's what you're doing. Hotel into affordable houses. That's what I'm doing. So let's see. The House Center for Homeless Needs Volunteers for the C-Store. So yeah, in downtown Kansas City, looking for to help serve Kansas Cityans without business this winter. So they opened up a warrant in, let's see. Yeah, currently houses 150 individuals. Our emergency shelter houses 50 currently. And yeah. that's what this is about. So they're a Hote, so not too far away. So they're offering shelters for extreme temperature. Okay. But this is the kind of thing we need, and we actually need it to we need there to be an actual active collaboration, which currently it just doesn't exist. Yeah, we have Beacon, and that is able to shelter 50 people, but there is clearly more that's needed, and there needs to be isolation again, because there is a COVID outbreak currently at Wheeler. And then lastly, let's see what they're doing in Sacramento. Yeah, so Sacramento is actually having city-operated shelters, which that's something that Bloomington is not doing. The city is funding nonprofits like Wheeler to have beds and stuff, but what they're not doing is actually running shelters of their own right now. They're leaving it to nonprofits, and then they're obstructing what these what a lot of these community run things are doing. They're just they're saying, oh, you can't have tents, and oh, the CDC doesn't matter, even though it's gonna create cases, and it has. There's been COVID cases, and when there was a COVID case at the encampment, we isolated it, we took care of it, and that didn't happen there. And John Hamilton has blood on his hands, and he could be doing this, but he does not have the political will. He has no heart. John Hamilton has no heart. So let's see the rest of this. Oh, the video's ended. They didn't even end at 2 p.m. That's pathetic. Yeah. Display. Yeah, this everything going on in Bloomington makes me sick. So, but hopefully it gets better. And with that, I'm gonna end the video at that.